Good morning, everyone. My name is Rai, and today I'm going to present on Care and Connect. It is a mobile app project focused on building dementia-friendly communities. The project addressed a growing need to support individuals living with dementia and those who care for them. The purpose was to identify and rate public places based on key factors that contribute to dementia friendliness. Ultimately, the goal is to empower communities to be more inclusive and supportive of individuals with dementia, enabling them to participate more fully in daily life. The motivation behind Care and Connect stems from a very real and pressing societal changes, the increasing prevalence of dementia as population age. This isn't just a statistic, it represents a growing number of individuals who deserve to live with dignity and connection. One of the most significant issues faced by people with dementia is difficulty in assessing and navigating public places. What may take for granted, a trip to a grocery store, a visit to a park, or even a doctor's appointment can become incredibly challenging and stressful. Think about a real world example. A person with dementia trying to find a restroom in a shopping mall with confusing sign or struggling to navigate a crowded restaurant with loud background noises. These seemingly small obstacles can lead to a feeling of anxiety, isolation, and ultimately social withdrawal. Furthermore, caregivers who dedicate so much of their time to support their loved ones often struggle to find suitable places where they can engage comfortably and safely. Care and Connect aims to leverage technology to bridge this gap. It provides a platform for sharing crowdsourced knowledge about dementia friendly locations, making it easier for both individuals with dementia and their caregivers to find welcoming and supportive environment. For the problem, to truly understand challenge and opportunity, it was important to clearly define the core problem that were addressed. The project started with a few questions about the Care and Connect app. Several key aspects of Care and Connect app were assessed. One of the main aims was, of course, identifying the public spaces that were already dementia friendly. However, simply identifying these places wasn't enough. It was necessary to understand why community engagement with the app was relatively low, despite the clear need for such a resource. There was a focus specifically on the low engagement in the app design, and usually despite early expression of interest. A significant challenge was the difficulty in maintaining long-term user participation. How could people be encouraged to contribute and use the app beyond the initial launch phase? And finally, there was the need to address the critical issue of trust, reliability of crowdsourced reviews. How could the information be shared be ensured was accurate, unbiased, and truly helpful? For the data setting features, to address the question, data was gathered and analyzed, key feature extracted from the app and user data built a comprehensive picture of how the platform was being used and what factors were influencing its success. This include, of course, the crowdsourced contribution themselves, the rating and reviews that user were submitting about different location. Also tracked were community engagement metrics such as the number of supporters, active contributors, and shared venues. The app included a navigatable map that allows users to pinpoint dementia-friendly location. So how this feature was used was analyzed. The content of the review themselves was also examined using sentimental analysis techniques to gauge out overall tone and identify key themes. Finally, the engagement level at each phase of the project, the initial support phase, the design phase, and the launch phase, and the user demographics and participation trends were examined to identify any pattern or correlation. Care Connect was built upon community-driven app model, meaning it is successful dependent on active participation of our users. To enhance its functionality, machine learning techniques were integrated to analyze the data collected. Specifically, engagement patterns were analyzed across the three key phases: support, design, and launch. Users were asked to rate places based on specific dementia-friendly criteria such as accessibility, staff awareness, and clarity of signs. Supervised machine learning, such as logistic regression, decision tree, and were considered to automatically classify location based on their ratings. Furthermore, sentimental analysis was used to assess the qualitative experience being shared in the user reviews. However, some significant challenges were encountered. Sparse data, meaning a lack of sufficient data points, limit the effectiveness of machine learning models. Uh, Privacy concerns also impacted the user engagement, as some individuals were hesitant to share the personal information and contribute reviews. Finally, trust and inclusion barriers affected overall adoption of the app. If user doesn't trust the information or felt excluded from the process, they were less likely to participate. Evaluation and the outcomes. So, what was learned from this process? Here is a look at the key engagement results and some of the emerging themes from a user feedback. During the initial support phase, there was a great deal of enthusiasm, exceeding the target with 94 supporters, along with a good level of interaction in the form of comments and share. However, this initial enthusiasm doesn't translate into sustained participation. In design phase, there was a significant drop-off with only 6 active contributors. This was a major concern, as it meant the app was not being shaped by the very people it was intended to serve. At launch, there was a reasonable number of venues added and reviews posted, but it wasn't the level of engagement that had been hoped for. These results point to some important lessons. Firstly, it is clear that low participation in the design phase had a direct impact on reduced long-term engagement. If users don't feel ownership over a project, they are less likely to stay uninvolved. Secondly, community-driven models must actively address issues of trust and inclusivity. Users need to feel confident that their information they are receiving is reliable, unbiased, and they need to feel welcome and valued as contributors. So, what can be done differently in the future? More structured engagement opportunities for dementia communities could be added, ensuring that their voices are heard throughout the entire process. Incentives for participation could be explored, such as connecting users with valuable caregivers network or offering opportunities to participate in awareness campaigns. And finally, investment creating a better user interface and user experience tailored the app specifically to need and preferences of the target audience could be implemented. So this concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.